So now we're in the final segment. I call it Beneath the Accent. I'm going to ask a couple of questions. You can answer them in one word or a sentence or however you feel like. The idea is just to know more about you. It's like a rapid fire. Okay.
Rapid fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what advice would you give to your younger self and at what age?
16. Break some rules.
Okay. And what would you like to say to your 60-year-old self?
It's all okay.
Okay. Describe a moment when you experienced a significant cultural difference that surprised you.
The first time I saw someone put water on their husband's feet and drink it.
No way. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
All sorts of feelings with that one.
Okay. That's so bizarre. Okay. What's that one dish from your home country that always brings you comfort and nostalgia?
Sag, makki di roti.
What's your favorite cultural festival or celebration in Canada? And how do you usually celebrate it?
At Diwali, I long for a Diwali in India that I'll
Hmm.
remember because, of course, I was there the first 7 years, but I don't remember. Here, we celebrate by going to the Gurdwara, by going to our family's, my sister's house. And then my mom will always do a prayer. The kids get gifts, money usually.
Hmm.
And it's just that collection of visiting people's houses, giving sweets, and this joyous moment of literally lighting dias, lamps around our house, in front of our house. And I think it's just full of hope
Hmm.
and connection.
Okay. And any cultural festival in Canada that you celebrate?
Um, I guess I celebrate Christmas to a point, not the religious aspect of it, but we put up a tree, we do
Okay.
the gifts. And again, it's more of the family and the connection piece of it together.
Okay. I see. If you had to describe yourself as any creature, what would it be and why?
I see myself as a lion.
Okay.
Sometimes with my big hair physically, but I think I have a very protective nature. And if there is something that I want to dig into and stand by, then my claws come out and I stand big and protect whatever it is behind me that I'm trying to protect.
Awesome. And if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Wow, that's a tough question. I'm trying not to go superficial like the ability to fly or something, right? Because that would be a cool factor. I don't know if it would serve anybody anywhere with me flying around everywhere.
And then falling down with the weight of snow falling.
Yes. or being eaten by an eagle or something like that. I think it would be more the ability to mold.
Hmm.
Because I think there's so much, we often say if the world had more women leaders, we would have less wars, better decision making power. So not the ability to like be able to read people's minds, but the ability to be able to convince people about the greater good,
Mm.
to solve some of our issues like poverty, and like these silly wars that we come up against, and we use those and focus on them rather than the real
Hmm.
uh, problems that the world has.
Okay.
I have to think about that one deeper. Maybe you'll get an email from me tomorrow.
Okay. If you could create this one law that everybody has to follow, what would it be?
Kindness. So before you open your mouth, before you make a decision, think about, is this helpful? Is it necessary? And is it kind? And I think in there, you'll wrapped up, you'll find who is it harming, and maybe you'll take a better decision.
Mm, absolutely. So, home is where the heart is. If you had to choose one thing that makes you feel most at home in Canada, what would it be?
Obviously, my family,
Hmm.
my husband, children, my mom is where my home is. But if we're looking at non-human things, it would be a good cup of ja. Makes me feel
Okay. So, finally, describe Canada in one word or a sentence.
complex.
Hmm. Why would you say that?
Um, Complexity in everything, in the people, in the different cultures we have, in the changes that happen to people once they get off that airplane from the first time to the end of their time here. It's complex, and in complex is the good and the bad.
Wow,
in
absolutely.
between.
Yeah. And if you could leave me, Jyoti, with one piece of advice, what would it be?
Keep doing what you're doing. Um, I have to say, I only recently met you, but I am so proud of you
Thank you.
for picking up the torch on this, and especially being a male. And you're doing it. Even the name of your podcast is just like you're putting whatever the stigma is in bright, shining lights and saying, here it is, and here is what someone with a thick accent is capable of doing, because I think you're being a beacon for people to discuss these issues, for individuals like myself to share our experiences, because I know that I'm not alone in my experience, you know, you're not alone in your experiences, and it just takes a few of us to rise up and discuss this and help others. So thank you for what you're doing.
Oh, thank you for your kind words. And lastly, how would you describe your experience being on the podcast today?
Wonderful. I had no notes, but I had talked to you on the phone, so I was quite comfortable, and I knew it was going to be just a great conversation. And you have a very calming way, and you're vulnerable, so it allows your speaker to be vulnerable as well. So I appreciate that, and I hope you keep doing that and using your voice, right, for the greater good. But I think this is such a wonderful idea.
Absolutely. And was there something that you had like a certain expectation from the podcast? And how was it like?
I my expectation was we're going to have a conversation about some important things, but because I'm the subject matter expert of my own life, I wasn't worried. No notes, no research was necessary. This is I'm speaking from my heart, my head, and that's exactly how it went. I'm looking at the time. I don't know where it went. It was very quick, and I thank you for that as well, for making it easy for me.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for saying that. And thank you for being on the podcast and adding value to me and to my listeners. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.